Welcome to Rooted Voices. I'm your host, Dawn Tree, and today we have Nana Sufi. And, I want you to introduce yourself. Take the time to do that,
Wow. Okay. I go by many names. Like you said, Nana Sufi, and people also call me Nana B. And I'm a practitioner. I practice African spiritual systems, and I'm a cultural advocate. And I research into the scientific appraisals of the African traditional systems and how we can incorporate that into 21st century reality. So in a nutshell, I'm also a seeker like yourself.
Yes. So so now, like, I'm gonna set it up. I met you when I was in Ghana. I was in Accra. Year, I forget, 2019. And you were running the organization Aquarian Rising. And you invited me to come on stage and speak about politics and art at Abajo, which is a restaurant, cultural space in Accra. So can you tell us more about that project, Aquarian?
Well, the Aquarian Rising Cultural Foundation is the mother project or the mother movement. The Aquarian Rising Cultural Foundation brings together cultural practitioners and advocates from all over Africa, all over the world, under one umbrella. And we pursue very ingenious projects, and we also do public services. We do cultural advocacy, and we organize. We do basically cultural productions. However, the Aquarian Rising lecture series, the one that you became a part of, is more or less like the meeting, the melting point where we meet to discuss issues. And the whole idea of the Aquarian Rising lecture series was to put different speakers on every month, because I realized people had a lot to say, but people didn't have major platforms. And people had major researches that the world needed to hear about, but they didn't have the platform. So we created a lecture series so that it will become a lecture platform where everybody that has something to say can just apply to be a part of it. Any as long as you have something to say,
right?
Then that's your platform.
Okay. I just so happen to be working on some art in the Eastern region. So I was able to bring that art to the space. And so Danisha Pendergrass was on the stage, which is Bob Marley's granddaughter. So I was
big.
super honored to serious.
Yeah, because I saw it in you, Yeah, I'm very good at sporting. I can spot. If I see talent, I can just see. You don't have to tell me anything. I see. If you got it, I know. If you don't, I know. Just by looking at you. So by looking at you, I was like, no.
And so like I think I had gone to another one previously. That's when I met you, and you had brought Kwame Nkrumah's daughter,
and then Malcolm X's daughter.
Yes. So I was pretty blown away. And then you got to me on stage. I said, what? So
because I saw you got something, you got something, that the world needs to know. And I'm more interested with young speakers than the old speakers. That's why the Aquarian Rising, is more focused on young speakers.
Right.
You understand? We need to shape our own future by giving the young speakers a chance. But the old speakers have taken us to this point. The old speakers, they have brought us to this point. Now, the future is going to be shaped by us. It's not going to be that. The old people, the old folks, what we are living in currently is their future. It's a future they created. And now we have to create our future. So we organize those, that have some form of clarity, that have some, knowledge and have been blessed with wisdom put them together and let them talk, let them just express them. So let them bring out solutions, appraisals, you understand, and observations, research, and then we move on.
Mm-hmm.
So like the lecture series was more or less like the back in the days they had this disco session, how do you call it, in America, where like everybody had to go through that session. If you were like a big artist, you have to go there to get your break.
Okay.
Soul Train.
Oh, yeah.
Soul Train.
Don
So
Cornelius, yeah.
Don Cornelius, exactly. So the Aquarian Rising lecture series is like the Soul Train for speakers
I like
and
that.
internet.
I like that.
Yeah, the Soul Train for speakers.
Yeah. Okay, so your real name, a born name, is Kwabena Baffour-Awuah?
Awuah.
Okay.
Yes, Kwabena Baffour-Awuah. That is my local indigenous name.
Because you were born on what day? What day were you born?
On a Tuesday.
So that's a Tuesday born name.
Yeah, that's a Tuesday. So Kwabena is a Tuesday born.
Okay.
And yes, and it has two meanings.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually two words. It's two words that has been merged into one.
Okay.
The first word is the kwa, the KWA, kwa, come from the word AKWA, meaning aqua, meaning slave. And then Bena, Bena, Bena means fire.
Fire.
So Kwabena is a slave to the fire energy.
Okay. Okay. Wow, that's powerful right there.
Yeah.
I've been watching Avatar, so fire.
Yeah, for sure.
So like in junior high, you were ordained a school chaplain. Can you
Yes, I was
back then?
ordained. That was yes, I was in the Harrow International Junior High.
Okay.
I used to go for evangelism, and my father had a library, a spiritual library, and I would say like an occult library.
Mm.
And he had all the books here. He had all the mystical books. He had the Quran, he had the Bible, the Bhagavad Gita, Christian Science, Upanishads, all the philosophical books, all of them from all the religions. He had it in the library.
Okay.
And that is where I grew up, in that library.
Okay.
So I grew up having a very clear understanding of religion and spiritual matters from a very young age. Because at that young age, I was reading, stuff that was meant for old people. So like my teachers, they saw that in me, and they made me a school chaplain from Form 1, junior high, from Form 1 to Form 3. So for 3 years, I was a school chaplain. Every Wednesday, I had to lead them in prayers. I had to find a topic, I had to preach. I had to, I was a preacher, man.
Wow. So
Yeah,
you were never like shy or timid or anything like that. You were just ready for that ordained.
yeah. I'm more inspired when I see people, or when I see the camera, I see the light, I see people. That's where, without a crowd, I'm a very shy person.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, without a crowd, I'm a very shy person. But when I get to the crowd, when I see the crowd, if you put me in front of the crowd, then you will see the real me.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Yeah, that's very interesting. So now,
Yeah.
like your lineage, I know you talk about the Asante tribe,
Yeah.
Amankwatiah. Let's see, you're the great grandson of Baffour-Awuah, chief of
Yeah,
defense.
Baffour-Awuah.
Okay.
Yeah, the chief of Bantama, the warrior king, the head of the chief. How do I put it? I say,
and you Puduo war stool, occupant
yes,
of the the stool?
Yeah, I'm looking for a very diplomatic term to use for that title.
Okay.
He's not a defense minister, chief of defense staff.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
the word I'm looking for. So
Okay.
the Puduo Stool, Baffour-Awuah is the chief of defense staff.
All right. So you're the grandson, you're the descendant of that. So what does that mean? What does that
Okay,
mean?
what it means is that the Puduo Stool is basically a war stool. It was created purposely for war. It contains certain energies that has been programmed purposely for war. So when they go into war, the Asantes are going to war. The Puduo, or the occupant of the Puduo of that war stool, is the one that leads the army. So he is the general on the field, and
So
he is the one who
go ahead.
Yeah, he's the one who leads the front line. You understand?
Okay.
So we the Puduo, we will lead the front line. We are not from the red division. We are not from the right wing or the left wing. We are the front line.
So that would be kind of like in the US, the equivalent of the Marines, like they are on the front line.
In the front line. So all the people on the front line, the Puduo is their head, because we have different war stools, but the head of the war stool is the Puduo.
Okay.
So the Puduo is the first on the front line.
So now, can you explain like the stool? Is this a wooden stool, a golden stool? Like, what's the meaning behind the stool?
Yeah.
I know a little bit, but can you tell?
Come again, please.
The stool itself. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? You know.
The Puduo stool.
Yeah.
Okay, the Puduo stool came with the golden stool. They are twins, they're like brothers. So the Puduo, which is the war stool, it came to protect the golden stool. And the golden stool was a stool that was conjured from the heavens. And the Asantes believed the golden stool to be the sun, the stool of the sun, because then the sun is represented by gold. So
you froze for 1 second. So you said the stool of the sun. It comes from the sun.
Yes, it comes from the sun. It's the stool of the sun. And whoever occupies that stool is the God King. So the King of the Asantes, he's a God King. He's not only a king of the people, he's their immediate God. He's the immediate personification of the ideology of the supreme being called God. So for us to understand the power that God has, for us to see the beauty, for us to see all the affluence, the attributes of God, we look up to him. So the Puduo came to defend that honor, or to defend that stool, to defend that power. So Puduo is more or less, the Puduo stool is more or less like a chief servant, because the first occupant of that stool used to be the stool carrier of the first king of the Asante Empire. So they had a personal relationship way before, you understand, the Asante Empire was formed. So the Puduo stool came as a means, right? As a means, or as a protective means, to protect the image of the golden stool. So that's the main function of the Puduo, is to protect.
Okay, so like, I mean, some of the story that I heard was that the stool, the original stool, it came from the sky, like it dropped down into the ocean, like on the coast. Can you tell me more about that? Like, was it a meteorite? Like, what was it? That by the time it came down, it was gold. Like, how does that work? Is it mystic?
Okay. So this is how it is.
Folklore.
It's not folklore, it's real. What happened was that the Asante Empire, first there was nothing like the Asante Empire or the Asante Nation. The Asantes were made up of different states, different individual states.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So they were all made up from individual states. And then for them to be able to become a force, then they created the first United Nations. So the first United Nations was, okay, now we are vulnerable as individual states, but we'll be more powerful as one state. And because every state is a paramount and is powerful on its own, in order not to create power division, the high priest or the chief priest had to do some ceremonies to conjure the golden stool from the sky. And with the understanding that all the paramount chiefs that are seated there, every one of them could be a potential king of the whole Ashanti nation. But whoever the stool falls on their lap, that person is going to be the supreme. So he conjured it, then the stool came from the heavens, and then it fell on the lap of the first king of the Asante Empire, Osei Tutu the First. So after it fell on
what's his name?
King Osei Tutu the First.
Okay. So you're a descendant of him.
No, I'm not descendant of him. I'm descendant of the first tool carrier of Osei Tutu the First. My grandfather was a bodyguard, was a protectorate of him, was his, how do you call it? Chief security. Yeah, okay. Chief security.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, that's what.
Now speaking of the stool, we can go into Asante, who she was set to protect the stool. So I mean, I don't know how many centuries or decades this is in between, but you're a descendant of Asante, right? And
yeah, but Asante is from a Jisu. Asante is from a different family. She's from a different clan. She's from a Jisu. I am from Akrima. But our kinship, our stool is in Bantama. But Asante is from Ejisu. She was a queen mother in Ejisu. So what happened was that when the Asantes were invaded by the white people,
British,
and they started destroying, the British, they started destroying the colony, and they started looting and stealing and killing and maiming and raping and all that. We had to get to a point where the chief warriors, some of the chiefs had abandoned posts, some of the chief warriors had, they were demoralized. So, like a last-ditch effort, she had to rally the men and, go to war against the British, just to protect the image of the golden stool. Because the reason why the golden stool is so central to the Asante Empire is because the golden stool is the soul, the heartbeat of the nation. Because when this golden stool was created, all the paramount kings of the different states, everybody brought a portion of hair, a tuft of hair, and then their fingernails and toenails. And then herbs were added to it. And then, they made sacred black powder, and then they used that as soot. You understand? To put that power into the golden stool. So the golden stool contains all the soul, the essence of all the Asante states. So the day we lose the golden stool, the Asante Empire ceases to be Asante. The day the golden stool loses its value, the Asante Empire loses its value. So the most important relic, just like in Israel, the most important relic to the Jews was the Ark of the Covenant. The golden stool, the Ark of the Covenant.
Yes.
The golden stool is the Ark of the Covenant for the Asante Empire. Yeah.
So she led the army to protect the stool, right? And
she led the army.
They went to war. Army, and she was in one of the castles, and she was trying to hold them off. She was eating rats and everything, and then they captured her granddaughter, right? And then they sent her to Seychelles. But what happened to the stool in between that? Did they capture the stool too, or
No, the Asantes had to come up with a brilliant plan to replicate the golden stool and give it to the British. So they replicated the same thing, looking like the golden stool. And they gave that to the British. So when the British got there, then they realized, no, this is not the golden stool. Because the only reason the British were so fascinated with the golden stool, they didn't know why a group of people would put so much faith into such a relic. And, you know, they know the power of these things. And like I always tell people, if you go to the slave dungeons and the slave castles and the slave forts, every slave dungeon, every slave fort used to be a shrine. So yeah, the Europeans, the slave traders, they built all their forts on sacred grounds. Yeah, on sacred grounds. Every slave fort, every slave castle is on a sacred ground.
So let's get a little deeper into the spirituality now. You say like they brought their hair, they brought the nails. Is that considered like voodoo, or what is that?
Yes, that's what people will say, but that's a spiritual practice. Your hair contains your essence. Your fingernails contains your essence.
Yeah.
You understand? So if you take a tuft of your hair and your fingernails, you understand, we can research that in a laboratory and even find out the kind of sickness that you are even suffering from without even having to do a blood test.
Right. Okay.
You understand? Yeah. So the essences of all the kings whose hair and fingernails and toenails were brought together, they were burnt with some special herbs. And once you burn those special herbs, we call it black powder mortar. It contains healing effect. It contains power. It contains energy. And that energy was used as a collective force. And then the golden stool was blessed with it. So the golden stool was blessed with the collective energy force of all the kings present at that moment. So yes, the forefathers understood the science of these things, the science of the electrical charges within your hair, the science of the electrical charges within your fingernails and your toenails, and how to put all of them together and activate them using special herbs. You understand? And then directing its flow to achieve a particular solution to a particular problem.
Okay. Wow.
Hey.
Wow. So you have like a really deep background though when it comes to spirituality. Like I was reading some about the Presbyterian Church, like you joined the Presbyterian Church, the Ethiopian African Black International Church, the Hebrew Israelite community. You studied in India, so you've had like a very array of broad understanding,
of all the spiritual and religious systems.
Right. So, it sounds like your father kind of opened that door for that curiosity. Like, how do you feel about that now in terms of, your take on spirituality, and is one greater than the other? Are they all very important to, be balanced in this world? Like, what do you practice the most?
Well, at the end of the day, it's just like martial arts, right? It's like martial arts. Kung Fu is not more important than karate. Kung Fu is not more deadly than Shotokan. Shotokan is not more deadly than Silat. Silat is not more deadly than Wing Chun. Wing Chun is not more deadly than Tai Chi. Tai Chi is not more deadly than Taekwondo. They are all disciplines. They are all martial arts disciplines, just like all the religious and philosophical systems.
Okay.
So it depends on how much you apply yourself to it. The application.
Mm-hmm.
The application, how much you apply yourself to it, is how much benefit you are going to get from that practice. And all these philosophical systems and all these religious bodies, with my experience, I realized that each and every one had a portion of the truth. Each one has something that the next one needed. But the next one does not know that they need this one from this one. This one has something that the next one needs, but the next one does not know that they need from this one. So as I was able to go through all the systems, And I realized they were all saying the same thing. They were all singing the same song.
And what's that?
But everybody was,
what's the song?
God is one.
Okay.
Yeah, if you go to the Bible, it say, "Hear, O ye Israel, the Lord thy God is one. Have no other God before me," blah, 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 blah. And then if you come to Islam, you say, "La ilaha illallah." There's no other God but Allah. If you come to our local system, they say, "Oh, Nyamikrona, which is the one God." So it's just one energy. It's one energy that personifies itself in different forms with different names, based and transforms into different characters based on the environment. Because the way the people in Nigeria will define the concept of God based on their environment and culture is different from their next door neighbors, the Igbos. It is different from their next door neighbors, the Hausa. It is different from the next door neighbors. You understand? Even in Ghana, the way the Asantes define the concept of God is different from that by the coastal side in the Ghana people. It's different from how the Evers define God. But it's the same African traditional system. We have so many different definitions and ideologies and understanding of God. In some systems, God is represented as a woman. In some systems, God is represented as a man and a woman, androgynous. Some systems just represented with a symbol. In some system, God is represented as a snake. In some systems, just represented as water. Everybody is inspired based on their understanding of their environment and their level of perception of the divine being, or how they encounter the divine being. How they encounter the divine being will determine how they define the divine being.
All right.
How Muhammad encountered the divine being is how he defined Allah.
Okay.
You can't define Allah in any other way, in any other form, with any other juxtaposition, aside how he understood what he saw, or based on how he understood or how he encountered it. So Gautama Buddha encountered the divine, and based on how Buddha encountered the divine, he encountered it as, Arjuna encountered Krishna, and based on how Arjuna encountered Krishna, that's how he described it. How Muhammad encountered Allah, that's how he described it. How Moses, John, all the people, the characters in the Bible, everybody that encounters the divine, they describe something different. There's no one definite prescription or description of the divine even in the Bible among all the prophets. So how do we expect to have one definition or one understanding of one divine being when we have thousands and thousands of dialects and cultures and traditions and upbringings and experiences? No. So none of them hold the absolute. All of them have pieces of the absolute. The only one that has all the absolute is you, the human being. Yeah, the human being is a complete machine. It's a complete machine. Your soul is pure. Your soul is the presence of the divine. Your soul is the presence of God in you.
All right.
Yes, and God cannot be.
That. Thanks for explaining that and your perspective. Yeah. That's very important, because now, like, religion, there's cultural wars based off of religion. Like literally right now. But I want to talk about the fact that you were. You were appointed the Western region of Ghana? Is it the royal ambassador or what's the
royal
exact
ambassador? Okay, there's a new appointment that came from the International Human Rights Commission.
Okay.
Where they appointed me as a front desk representative of the Committee on African Indigenous Religions, representing Ghana, and also the Royal Traditional Priesthood Federation from Nigeria, which is a global priesthood organization. They appointed me as the Royal Ambassador for West Africa. And that came with an honorary doctorate degree in leadership and humanitarian services, and from the global social and financial evolution network based in UK, and in collaboration with the Asian University in Manchester, So they gave me the doctorate, and the International Human Rights Commission gave me the appointment to be the front desk rep for the Committee on African Indigenous Religions. And the Committee on African Indigenous Religions is to bring practitioners all over Africa together so we can be able to do a job, we can be able to do a work, we can be able to facilitate the way forward as how we want to define, refine, and redefine our own cosmology, our own philosophies, our own traditions, our own cultures, and basically how do we define ourselves, our own selves, by our own selves. So that's why the Committee on African Indigenous Religions is set up by the International Human Rights Commission to do that. And I'm the rep in Ghana. And for the Royal Traditional Priesthood Federation, I am the representative for the whole of West Africa.
Mm. So you are Dr. Kwabena now?
No, I am His Eminence Chief Doctor. His Eminence Chief Doctor Peter Jewuchem. That's the full name. Yeah, His Eminence Chief Doctor. So that's the title I sign now. His Eminence Chief Doctor.
So what does eminent mean?
Eminence. You know something of eminence?
Maybe, but break it down.
Yeah, eminence is like something of power, something of value, of special importance.
Okay, where'd you get that title from? Where'd that come from?
Yeah, it's based on the works that I've been doing that the Royal Traditional Priesthood Federation came down from Nigeria, and they said like, yo, we've seen the work you put in, we've seen the shift, we've seen you, we see you, we see the grind, and you've worked enough. So now you need to be elevated to the next level. So, you need to be given this, you need to be given this title, this recognition, this accreditation. You understand? So, to boost your value and to take you to the next level.
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah,
that's amazing. Yeah. I'm honored to even, be talking to you, to know you for going on like 5 years now.
Yeah.
So
but you put on a bit of weight. See your cheeks. Your cheeks are bigger than before.
I mean, when I'm in Ghana, like it's easy, to lose weight in Ghana.
I know.
The heat, the walking everywhere.
Yeah.
But not much, not much.
I know.
But like, so let's talk about veganism. I saw that in your profile, bio. So are you vegan?
No, I'm not vegan now. I used to be vegan for 10 years.
Okay. So
yeah, that's why I studied the art of veganism when I was in the bush. It's all part of my journey. I've been vegan for a very long time. You understand? It was all part of experiencing what's out there, because you have to experiment. You have to try and error, experiment, get this right, get this wrong, get this right, get this wrong, till you come to a position or a place where your whole energy is very comfortable with it. So yes, I used to be vegan for a very long time, but now I eat healthy, like real healthy.
What do you mean, like your energy is comfortable? What do you mean?
When your energy is comfortable, is that everything is not for everybody, right? Yeah. Everything is not for everybody.
True.
Everything is not for everybody. So based on the environment that we find ourselves, even though ideally, veganism, ideally is the best. Realistically.
Okay.
Ideally is the best, but realistically, it's not something that is sustainable to a lot of people over a long period of time.
Right.
Because in some environments, even here in Africa, they don't have enough variety of plants to even become vegan.
Okay.
Now, if you go to the bush, if you go to the Sahara and all that, all they have is a few oases of plants, wild bushes, with lots of animals. They don't even have proper vegetables. You understand? They don't even have proper cereal.
Right.
So those people, their main source of sustenance is meat.
Okay. Yeah.
So those people, they don't have consciousness. They're not conscious. They didn't put themselves in that environment.
I see, I see. Yeah,
Exactly.
because dairy is a part of that too. So like that comes from the cow and the goat, the milk.
Exactly.
Well,
Exactly.
so it's all about what you have, the resources that you have.
What is available.
And I would say because of the total interference of like Europeans over the years, I feel like it's allowed, kind of that imbalance even,
Mm-hmm.
But all right, so now you just eat very, very healthy.
Very healthy.
Yeah, you're small, like you super skinny,
I've been fasting, that's why.
Okay. Why do you fast?
Yeah, so my body can regenerate in energy. When you stop eating for a while, all the enzymes in your body, for them to decompose or degenerate the food in your body, they have to pick the energy from your body. Now, these enzymes use the energy from your body that your body supplies them to break down the food. So if you don't have food in your system, then all the energy that is supposed to come off your body to degenerate that food, all that energy is stored, is restored. It's not even touched. It's not even, you don't need to even replenish it. It becomes intact. It's not touched. It's not toyed with. So because like for instance, when you eat, your whole body has to go to the digestion period, and it takes a lot of energy from you. So that's why when you eat heavily, you feel very lethargic, because then the enzymes require more energy from your body to break down the food. Mm-hmm. But when you go on a fast, your whole system, your enzymes in your body, everything shuts down, and then it sends a message to all the enzymes, to everything inside your body. You understand that you are not eating, so your body is not producing excess energy that it needs to conserve.
Okay. Okay, I see. And you need your energy to teach and to, I guess
teach, to experiment, to heal, to guide, to direct. This work is
be a vessel. Be a vessel.
Exactly, that's what it is.
Yeah. Okay. Like this first part of the podcast, we discussed you as a person, and kind of your spiritual makeup and how you got to today as what was it? Eminence Chief Dr. Kwabena. Yeah. So like the second part, I want to talk more about the conflicts that are happening in Africa. So, we have Sudan, we have the Democratic Republic of Congo, and probably about 30 other countries. Where'd you go? And so
I'm here.
Okay. So I want to get more into that. And so yeah, we're gonna be back because I want to close it down and then come back. So
all right.
We can talk more. Okay.
Okay. All right. Got you.
All right. Okay. So we talked a lot about who you are, and I wanted to discuss, if you have any insight into some of the conflicts that are happening in Africa right now. So we have also in the Caribbean, Haiti, as we speak right now, is kind of fighting back. So can you address even the Democratic Republic of Congo at least, first maybe, if you have
Yeah. Well, basically, Africa has always been, this is not the first time that, we are experiencing such trauma. This is not the first time. And it's specially designed to always keep us busy, because the more you are fighting, the more there's disunity, the more it's easier for anybody just to come in and pick all that is important to you. Mm-hmm. The more people can come in and steal all the wealth, the more people can come in and dictate. So these wars and upheaval that is happening, it's just a constant, it's just a It's something that's been ongoing, but they just always find new ways to, find new ways to, new ways to redefine an old problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's new ways to redefine an old problem. So with these conflicts in Congo and it's all just to keep us busy, my dear.
Busy,
Keep
distracted.
us busy. Just keep them distracted. Because anywhere you see that is a conflict, right? Then there's an interest somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
there's no
like the
conflict.
Congo, cobalt, all the
Yep.
minerals in the country, usually it kind of results back to money and the minerals that are being extorted.
That's
Yeah.
it. Anywhere there's conflict, there's an interest. Anywhere there's conflict, there's an interest. Somebody's interested in your minerals, somebody's interested in your gold, somebody's interested in your land, somebody's interested in your people, somebody's interested in something.
Right.
You
So
understand?
like, can you speak more on the say like the leaders of these countries? You know, a lot of them are corrupt, or I mean, there's all different type of scenarios. Like some are overruled, some are just kind of a slave to the tax or whatnot that the British or Europeans have. So some have corrupt people in the country, itself that are allowing these things to happen. How do you feel like we're going to solve these issues and cease war, or war going to happen all the time?
And the only way we can really seize all this thing is when we redefine ourselves again, because right now we are not defined as a people. Mm-hmm. We are not defined. We are defined by external powers. Our name is defined by somebody. Our existence is defined by somebody. Our belief system is defined by somebody. The God that we worship is defined by somebody. Our tradition is defined by somebody. The extent to which we practice our own culture is defined by somebody. So we are not physically independent, emotionally independent, and spiritually independent. So it's easy for us to be manipulated. So when the people are shortchanged, and then they have a low value or low self-esteem of themselves, because then it's going to create issues. When people have access to all this wealth, and then they are living in abject poverty, you understand? That is going to create all these conflicts. Now you check it and see that most of the places where you have the most conflicts are very impoverished areas. Conflicts normally come from very impoverished areas. You understand? And when people see how others are living, and they are living off the wealth of the land, and they are growing big, and they are putting on weight, and they are, breaking the scales and all that. And they also have to deal with the fact that they don't even have what to eat. They don't even know where the next meal is going to be or where the next meal is going to come from. There will never be peace. There will never be peace.
So in a way, I mean, the war is justified in a sense, like fighting back at least, because Africa. I mean, what did I read? Maybe 60% of cobalt comes from the Congo. In general, goes into your cell phones, different technologies and things. And you're saying that some of these people don't even have water. They don't have pure water or
electricity. Education. They don't even have access to like basic health needs, like a common painkiller, like just iodine, like some basic stuff that make you feel like a human being.
Right. Yet we have Elon Musk and people in technology grossing billions of dollars off of resources.
The resources in Congo, is enough to take care of the whole of Africa. Congo has so much resources that Congo alone should be able to take care of the whole of Africa.
And that's one mineral apart from like all the rest. You have so many.
The sulfur, the gold, the bauxite, the diamonds, the timber, the redwood, the different exotic species of spices and animals and all that, So all these ones are just part of, it's all just a system to just keep us actively occupied in self-destruction. Because those people who are actually making all the big money, all those people who are actually getting themselves fat, they are all industry plants. They've all been planted there. And they've all been planted there. They've been planted there just to feed off the people. And those that planted them, they know that after a while, when these people get conscious, they're going to get irate, and it's going to be a whole different ballgame.
Right.
So,
everything. Speaking of that, like Haiti, I'm seeing that right now. Like where 4,000 people were escaped from prison, and this is being led by a lead gang member who was an ex-police. He was an ex-cop.
Yeah, barbecue.
Yeah, barbecue. Yes. And so now, like the over 200 gangs are actually coming together to band against the government, against the corruption. So, you know, in a way, I think we should be rooting for the rebellion, you know, in a way, because there's no democracy in Haiti. There's complete corruption. So that's what it's speaking of. They're getting angry. They're upset.
Exactly.
And they're fighting back.
They see who is enjoying the fruit of the land.
Yeah.
And they see who is not. They see who is and who is not. They see it. They know it, you know. And after a while, the people, they're going to grow disgruntled, and you know, shit is going to pop.
So spiritually, how do you feel like it's, you know, what's playing out? Because I mean, I know there's been wars in the past. There's wars in the Bible. So how, you know, how are you kind of channeling and dealing with this right now, you know?
Yes, the earth needs to go through a cleansing, you know, and sometimes for atonement of sins, you have to go through pain, you know, to subdue the physical body to, you know, cleanse yourself. So the best we can do right now is to try as much as possible to do good. There are some situations which is helpless. Some situations are hopeful. You understand? Some situations are totally helpless. Nothing, no prayer, no ritual, no ceremony will be able to revive it. And then the coming generation is our hope. The old generation is a lost generation. So we should be channeling all our energies to the coming generation, the younger ones. We need to recruit them really young, like young.
Yeah.
You understand? And prepare them. Yeah.
It makes me think of the Bible, right? When Moses led the people up to a certain point, and then he couldn't, or he died, or he couldn't lead them anymore. And so Joseph led them the rest of the way. Like he was young. He was young.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. So we need young leadership. That is the holy way forward now. We need a leadership that is vibrant, a leadership that is self-conscious, a leadership that places value on the Africanness of themselves, a leadership that is not overwhelmed, you know, by European standards. Yeah, that is the only way forward. Now, every other nation, every other group of people come to the table with their own agenda, but we never have our own agenda. Our agenda is determined, you understand, by external forces. So until we have a group of leadership, I mean, young leadership who understand the calling, who understand the struggle, it's going to be a lot of wahala.
Yeah, like even I watched Avatar, and the Avatar is 13 years old, young. He's a boy. But he harnesses, you know, earth, wind, fire, wind, all the elements, and he's like fighting back, you know. It's very symbolic to me. But, you know, what would you say to the elders right now who are clinging on to these positions of leadership and control? What would you say to them, you know, right now?
You see, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And power is a very sweet thing. Power. If you allow power to get into your head, it can be very sweet, because then power gives you authorization over situations and people. But then at the same time, the same power can corrupt you, and the same power can destroy you. So it's two things. So they cannot do everything to the end. Like we say in Africa, a man came on earth just to do his part. So when it's time for you to go, then you leave. So you can't do everything. And it's always good to leave when the praises are highest. It's always best to leave when you're at the top. You understand? It's always best to leave when you're at the top. And when you are forced to leave, then all your legacy becomes erased. So that's the best advice I give them is once you are forced to leave, your legacies become erased.
Okay.
So in order to protect their legacies and to keep their legacies intact, they need to find a way to get off their flying horse or their high horses, while the praises are up there.
Now, also, I want to ask you, a couple more things, but, a lot of our leaders like Kwame Nkrumah and certain leaders, Martin Luther King here, Malcolm X, once they're able to convince the people to, shift and change and kind of pull away from European controls and things and ideologies, they usually are martyred, they're killed. What would you say in that sense, like not appealing to any European forces or anything, or anybody being used by, say, the government to kill another leader? What would you say to that?
It's a part of it's part of human evolution. Even if you look at the Bible, as soon as David came on the scene, then Saul was put on him. Moses came on the scene, and then Pharaoh became his number one enemy. Every great person must have a nemesis. Every great person has a nemesis. Everyone, if you're a leader, then you've been given leadership abilities and skills, and you've been given the unction of leadership. You just should know that you have nemesis, and it's going to happen because your nemesis is supposed to test you. The nemesis is the one you work with. Your nemesis is the one who's going to sharpen you. The nemesis is the one that's going to make sure you're looking sharp. You're not dropping any balls. So it's something that comes. It's something that comes with the terrain. If you can't take the heat, you don't come to the kitchen. It comes with the terrain. It comes with it. Because once you begin to raise and you begin to conscientize people, it's warfare, because people need people to be dumped for a reason. Right?
Yeah.
People need to be dumped for a reason. So if you're trying to get them away from being dumped, then you are not helping whoever needs them to be dumped to achieve their objective. Your objective is to make them undump. But then making them undump also makes the person that needs them to be dumped ineffective. So it's going to be a conflict.
Wow. Yeah. So you must sign up. When you sign up for the leadership role, you must know you might get killed, basically.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it can be the person closest to you.
That's what's happening. I think in Sudan. Is it Sudan?
Yeah.
They were friends. The conflict, the way it's happened. They used to be friends, and now they're like conflicted and killing innocent people because they're now enemies.
So there's money involved, there's power involved. There's a whole lot involved,
Right.
Yeah.
So Eminence Chief Dr. Kwabena, how can anybody get in touch with you, and what do you have coming up next? I know you just had a lecture series.
Yes, I have a lecture coming up very soon that I'm going to put out on social media very soon. And right now, I'm more settled in now. Now I'm not traveling as much as I used to travel. Making preparations to, probably go explore around the Southern African belt, Botswana, South Africa, Lesotho, see how we can create a network around that side as well. And then also basically start, get back to the lecture series, which in a few weeks I'm going to start again. So if people want to meet me, the quickest way to meet me is to just follow me on Facebook. That's Nana Sufi. the Nana, Nana, then Sufi, Sufi. So the conversation begins there. So once we get over there and we begin to conversate, and I see you are serious, then I open up, because mostly I like people to contact me on Facebook first, see how serious they are.
Okay. Yeah.
Before I open up. Yeah, before I open up to them.
Okay. So you just had a lecture series like last week.
Yeah, last week.
So
yeah, it was brilliant. We had about 25 people tuning on Google Meet from all over the world, and we discussed on the subject of the science of juju, harnessing the Holy Spirit to create reality.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what would you say to people also who are like turned off by the term? They're like scared of juju and scared of, even other religions, like being Muslim. What would you say to them, in regards to still listening and open their ears to what you have to say?
People are scared of the unknown. People get scared and they get uncomfortable when they don't understand. You understand? They don't understand. When people don't understand the situation, they will get scared. And when we mention names like Vodun, like Juju, and all those things, they have deeper esoteric meanings. But because people do not know the meanings of those things, you understand? They take the generic form of, Juju, that's the devil, that's evil, that's, there's
Right.
always a negative connotation to it. But then if you ask 99.9% of these people, they have no idea what the true meaning of it is.
Mm-hmm.
So they're afraid of something that they are afraid of something that they cannot even define. They don't even know the meaning to what they are afraid of. So they don't even know what they are afraid of. They just heard the word and they're afraid of the word. You understand? They're afraid because they're not researching. They're not learning. They're not researching. They're not learning. They're not trying to improvise. They're not trying to. They're not. You rather go with what society says or what somebody says.
Yeah.
But like I always say, African spirituality, before the European came, before the advent of any religion in Africa, we knew God. We were already communicating with God. You understand? And we had the most ancient of all civilizations, and we had the most advanced civilization before any other civilization on earth. So how come the first civilization did not know about God? And in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. So the first civilization should know God better than the current civilization. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So there's no way we don't know God. If we are the original people on earth, there's no way we don't know about God.
Yeah. So, hop on, get in touch with Nana Sufi, if you are, open and wanting to learn more, and also being a part of the change that we want to see in the world, not just America, but in the world, and specifically Africa. So, thank you, Kwabena, for, doing this interview. My friend, I thank you, and hopefully, I see you soon in Ghana. You in Cape Coast.
Yeah, for sure. I'm in Cape Coast at the moment. Yeah, I'll be going to Accra in a couple of days.
Teaching at the university. And then, how far is Cape Coast from Accra?
That's about 3 hours.
And then how far is Cape Coast from Kumasi?
It's about 4 hours.
Okay. And then from Accra, Kumasi is what, about 5 hours from Accra, is it not?
Yeah.
Yeah, I took the trip there last time.
That's about 5 hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's about 5 hours to Kumasi, yeah, for sure.
Okay. It's getting late. It got dark on us, I see. So,
Okay.
Thank you for tuning in.
So
go ahead.
You're welcome. It's nice of you to have me on your program.
Yeah, all right.
Right.
So Rooted Voices, here we are again with a good nourishing interview. Thank you for tuning in.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. Take care.
Thanks for tuning in to Rooted Voices. I'm your host, Dawn Tree. Rooted Voices is a global broadcast that provides a platform for Americans that own something, be it equity in the community, a business, real estate, and even intellectual property. Moving closer to changing our communities. Outside of hosting Rooted Voices, I am exhibiting my abstract surrealist paintings, organizing youth art programs, speaking about Black Wall Street with my graphic art history book, traveling, and most important, self-caring.
Airing the first and last Saturday of each month at 11 a.m. For more information, contact Don Tree on all social media platforms at undergroundtree, or visit our website at utreep.com or by phone at 405-310-7291. Rooted Voices is an Underground Tree Studios production.